bang on tight today. Yeah, bang on today.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Welcome to this week's meeting of Essex Business Forum. Because you haven't seen me for a couple of weeks, I'm Aidan Squire. I'm the meeting chairman. It's my job to get you through the agenda. Hopefully there's a reasonable sized leadership team present today, and if so, could they be outstanding and introduce themselves? Stay where you are, Brian. Just tell us what you're doing.
That's right. Good morning, Ryan. Secretary, thank you.
I'm Vincent, I chair the membership committee and I'm the official timekeeper. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Scott, your meeting secretary. That's it, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning guys, Ben, education coordinator. Thank you.
Good morning everybody, I'm Terry and I do membership in the group.
Good morning, I'm a sausage and I'm going to be watching the meeting.
Sorry, it fell out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's what we're all hoping. Right, please be seated, thank you. Right, let's get the meeting underway. We've got nobody to welcome, so we won't bother with that. I think I'll just get on with the performance fee to start with. And Scott, you're on.
Well, although it is the 10th today, we have finished July, and I have the announcement of who the winner of Performance League is for July. I missed the entire month of July. It's the longest absence I've ever had for EDF. So I'm at the very, very bottom. But up at the top, we have 3 members who managed to top 200 points. Third place, 222, was John Hammond. Second place, 231 points, was Mr. Matt Barry. But with 264 points, the winner for July is Mr. Bainin. And just while I'm on the feet, if we sum up all the business passed in July, it was a quid short of £39,000.
Right, thanks very much, Scott. Education presentation, please.
Right, thank you very much. Well, good morning everybody.
Good morning.
That's better. Well, what I thought we'd do today is how well do you know your other members, or how well do you listen in other EBF meetings? So we're going to have a bit of fun, and we're going to play a game. Now we're going to play a game of heads and tails. Do you remember that time? So you put your hands on your heads for heads and on your bum for tails. So would you all please be upstanding? Right, so we're take your time, Brian. Okay, so we're going to go through these quite quickly to start off with some easy ones. So, who could introduce us to Michaela? So put your hands on your heads if you think it's Mike, and on your bottom, on your bum, if you think it's Matt. If you've got your hands on your head, stay standing.
Technically speaking, he should be disqualified.
Yeah, come on, Toby. Yes. Okay, next one. Whose mum recently gave us a visit? Put your hands on your head for Mr. Paul Booths. Or your hand on your bum for Scott. Yeah, all good. Right. Who advises us to check our passport? Hands on your head for Rosemary, hands on your bum for Stuart. Bad, okay, now we're moving on. So, who recently visited Mauritius? Was it hands on your head for Scott, or hands on your bum for Vince? Oh, no cheating.
Very nice.
Yep, you're all right, it's Vince. Okay, who interviewed Toby? Was it Paul Booth for your head, or Paul R for your bum?
Oh.
So, yeah, no cheating now.
Yes, have to think.
I'm abstaining.
What you do?
I know the answer.
If your hand's on your head, you need to sit down. So Brian, you're down. Yeah.
Some might say that was deliberate.
Yeah. In July, whose business won an award? Was it hands on your head for Tina, or hands on your bum for me? In July. If your hands on your head, sit down, you're out. Excellent. Because the answer was me. Okay, getting close now. So, who did Vince speak to on the phone in a recent Ed slot? Hands on your head for Paul Booth, or hands on your bum for Toby? If your hands on your bum, sit down. Oh, we're down to 3 now, okay. Who recently, in their 60 seconds, asked for Google reviews? Hands on your head for Mike, and tails for Jane. Oh. We have a winner, Mr. Nick Cook. I want you to get prizes. It's not good to have another 5 questions there. I'm having you around quick. But just go so if you sat down early, or maybe you didn't make it to the end, maybe it might be worth having a one-to-one with the other members, or listening out a lot more for what people actually are asking for, to get to know your fellow members. Because once those relationships are built, that's going to ensure a steady flow of referrals for each and every one of us. So thank you for a bit of fun this morning, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Ben. Right, Terry, do we have any membership matters you would like to put before us? No. Right, in that case, I better stand up. The business card box. Here it is, it's going around. Make sure you're adequately represented. Take cards that you need to effect introductions. Vincent, as usual, will be operating the bell. You all know how that works, so I won't get him to demonstrate. Brian won the Oscar the last time we were here. He will be listening carefully and will award the Oscar at the end of the round. So let's get on with the round. Now, coincidentally, Brian is last on my list, therefore first to go off. Brian is followed by Tina.
Hi, good morning everybody. Brian Kenton, the therapist, Building Therapist. I want you to know what polonium 201 is. It's a radioactive agent that's used in certain types of machinery. How about hexamine? You must only want to use this over the radio. It's a barbecue lighter fluid. What about acetone? We know that better by its generic name of paint stripper. But some of you ladies might have used that because when it's diluted, it's used as a nail varnish remover. Then we've got ammonia. That's an industrial cleaner. How about carbon monoxide? Silent killer. Or we also have cyanide. Now that's used in drug warfare. And finally there's arsenic. That is used in the manufacture of wrapping oils. Why have I told you all this? Was all those agents, those chemicals, in every cigarette that a person smokes. So is there any reason that 76,000 people die every year through smoking-related diseases? But it doesn't end there, because many have they have breathing difficulties, heart problems, and some have amputations all through smoking. So if you know anybody who smokes, please give them a friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. It was worth hanging on for the extra 30 seconds to be able to hold this after we get a chance. Right, Tina, you're next, and you're followed by Terry.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tina. My company is called Liberty Executive Services. I offer a secretarial and admin service. The sun is out. Who don't want to be in the office? They want to take their clients out for the day, or they just want to spend a day with their friends to catch up. But there's so much work to do. They've got to do loads of reports, got to arrange other meetings. That's where I can help. So I can take away your office pain and help you have a day off. Enjoy the sunshine. So that's me, Tina, Liberty Executive Services. I'm not a 9 to 5 from start to finish. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Terry, you're followed by Paul the first. Terry.
Very much, David. Good morning, everybody. It's Terry Bailey from TM Law. I don't know if many of you can see this, but that yellow highlighted area there is the gap between the people who have had accidents that should be claiming, and the bottom line is people who are actually claiming. It's called the justice gap, and it's grown bigger and bigger because insurance companies, being massive industries, are driving down, trying to do away with claims. Compensation is never a win. The public are always told, and you see it in the newspapers, person wins money for compensation. It's not a win, it's compensation for the injuries they've suffered, and in many cases, life-changing injuries. A young mum and a key rugby player left paraplegic. A waitress rushed to A&E with severe chemical burns. A man that hit a pothole which resulted in a 4-year legal battle. These people have all been in the headlines, and the headlines are person wins compensation. When you didn't win, it's compensation for what they're entitled to for usually life-changing injuries. If you know anyone that suffered a life-changing injury, give them my details, I'll be delighted to help them. Terry Bailey, TM Law.
Thank you very much, Terry. Paul the second.
Good morning everyone, Paul Rogers from Synergy Commercial Finance for all your business and commercial borrowing needs. Despite base rate going up last week, there's some good news at long last. We're seeing lenders on buy-to-let mortgages start to reduce their 5-year fixed interest rates. Indeed, one of the lenders we work with reduced their rates twice in less than a week. And yesterday, on top of that, some of those lenders are now offering free valuation service as well. So it appears that the mortgage market might start to be getting a little bit competitive again, which is good news. Albeit, base rate might go up again at some stage, we don't know. But you can get these mortgages agreed for the next 6 months in advance. So if you hear of anyone who's got their buy-to-let mortgage expiring sometime later in the year, please let me know. It's Paul Rogers from Synergy Commercial Finance.
Thank you, Paul. Rosemary, you are next, and you're followed by Neil.
Morning everyone. I'm Rosemary, your travel agent, sorry. I just wanted to remind people how important it is to book with an agent rather than doing it yourself. A colleague of mine only this week had a family going to the airport. They got there and their flight was cancelled, so all disappointed, family and kids in tears, etc. Great big queue up to the check-in desk, obviously people all run around panicking. She managed within an hour to get them on another flight, so they waved goodbye to the queue and got on their flight and went on their holiday. So it's really just to give you an idea of what we do and where we are. So if you haven't got an agent and you get in that scenario, what do? You're panicking, you've got to pay out for another flight maybe, where we take care of it all. So if you need any help with travel, please get in touch with me.
Thank you, Rosemary. Neil, you're followed by Ben.
Hi, good morning everyone. We were approached this last week by a collective of Essex charities, JDT Arts, Essex, Active Essex and things like that, for their annual severely deprived annual fun day. So families with Down syndromes, deprived backgrounds, disabled parents, etc. They wanted burgers, hot dogs, all the sauces, fries, salads, about 4 salads. They wanted cakes, chocolates, pick and mix sweets, a selection of canned drinks. They wanted this for 200 families, not people, and their budget was £500. So then all my staff agreed to do it for free. We rocked up and we done it. It was a really great day, really successful. Everyone enjoyed the food, and then before we left, we gave them their £500 back as well. When you have a good year, it is good to give a little something back, and that was us for this year, and we've agreed to do it for next year as well. That's Neil, and then event catering, and that's how we roll. Thank you. Good man. We're meant for that. But thank you.
Thank you. Must talk to you about an EBF. Right.
Registered charity.
We will be. Right. Yes, Ben. You're followed by Mike Skinner.
Good morning, guys, Ben Golding from Utility Warehouse. Now, last week I met a lovely young couple who were a little bit concerned because their mortgage payments were going up by £600 a month. So they're getting a little bit worried. However, I was able to help them save around £90 a month just by switching their services, their essential home services to UW, but also to show them a way that they could earn an extra income by helping their friends and family get similar savings. And we worked out just by helping 2 of their friends a month, they will be earning enough to cover their mortgage increase, which gives them a lot of reassurance. So this week I'm looking for people you know that want to save money with the UK's most trusted, most awarded and most recommended utility company. Also those that want to earn that extra income by helping their friends and family to get similar savings, especially those that are coming out of their mortgage. That's Ben Golding, Utility Warehouse.
Thank you, Ben. Mike Skinner is followed by Nick Cook.
Good morning, Mike from Blackwater Media. So this week I'm looking for anyone basically that's after videos and photos for their business, because a little bit quiet at the moment, got regular work ticking on but nothing particularly exciting lined up. I did, to help sell that to you, I received this lovely bit of feedback from John finished, well, last week I sent them an email saying these are the production files, have a look through, let me know if you're happy. And they said, my God, which was a bit of an ominous start. That is wonderful work. Thank you very much. We love you all. So it's always nice to get good feedback like that. Yeah, so anyone you know that's got enough images on their website, their social medias, just needs things updated, videos, photos, drone work, please send them in my direction. That's Brentwood Media.
Thank you very much, Mike. Nick, you're followed by Vincent. Vincent. You, followed by...
Sorry, I wasn't listening. As you all know, my name is Nick, I'm a structural engineer. I spend a lot of time looking at people's houses to make sure they're in good condition when they're selling or buying. I spend a fair bit of time actually preparing structural designs for people who want to alter their house in some way, maybe knock a wall or two out, maybe build an extension, convert the roof space. That's what I do. My name's Nick, I'm a structural engineer. If you know anyone who needs a structural engineer, please give them my card. I'll be very happy to talk to you. Thank you.
You see, he was initially distracted, but he was smiling. So that's a beam, isn't it? Straight away. That's what he does. So you're next, and you're followed by Jane.
I've been involved with business networking groups for over 21 years. I've forged some really great relationships in that time. Although I may have left some groups years ago, I still maintain contact with some of the people that I particularly got on with. So one such chap, John Mannix, was talking to his mate Stephen Drury, beginning of the year, and asking, do you know anyone that can do my printing for me? They're a firm of funeral directors in Acreage. So since January, we've actually produced over 60 audible service bookings for them. So, and they also get a 20% discount off their trade rates, which goes to prove that the contacts you make at past networking groups can go on working for you long after you left the room. So this week, who do you know who works for or who owns a firm of funeral directors? That would be a really good introduction for me. So, come to Speed Print. I'm not lying. We print for the dead and dying.
When you come across that funeral director to introduce to him, get a meeting. Right, Jane's next. She's followed by Toby.
Hello, I'm Jane, the English Green Tea Company. Nelson Mandela said that afternoon tea was Britain's greatest export, and how right that is. And this week is National Afternoon Tea Week. Hooray! Definitely to be celebrated. So I'm just going to mention on the 23rd of September, that is a Saturday, we have our next special afternoon tea at the Secret Scullery. And if you book before next Monday, if you book imminently, I'll give you 20% off. So who do you think would love to come to a lavish afternoon tea? I can send you the menu if you need tempting, but it's really wonderful. We'd love to make a big fuss of you or your loved ones. 23rd of September, that's the date, but you've got to let me know in the next handful of days. Auntie Jane's sitting down.
Thank you, Jane. We say that with tea, don't we? Right, that's so, yes, Toby is is next, and followed by Leanne.
Morning everyone, so I went for my first physiotherapy appointment this week, and you know how I love a metaphor, Aidan. I saw constant metaphors with the mentoring service that I provide. So my physiotherapist, she started off by calibrating where I currently am now, just like I do with my clients. She then asked me what I want to be able to do, where I want to get to, what activities and sports I want to do, so the vision of where I want to be, just like I do with my clients. She then worked with me to put together a plan to get there as quickly as possible, just like I do with my clients. And the plan included exercises and clever tools and apps to track the progress. And she took me by the hand and she guided me through the exercises, just like I do with my clients. And there's a progress tracking, so we can see how the range progresses as I push into the pain, just like I help my clients push into the comfort zone. And then there's an accountability aspect where I have to click each day to say that I've done my exercises, just like I provide accountability to my clients. And finally, it might sometimes take longer than you expect. I thought this would all be sorted in a few weeks, which probably is going to be the end of the year, going back to full strength. So it can take a bit longer than you expect.
Thank you, Toby. Probably one of your best metaphors. Leanne, you're next, and you're followed. Let's go.
Good morning everyone, good to be back. I'm Leanne of Brentwood Interiors, in case you forgot. And I help my clients create functional and beautiful homes. So if you know anyone that's a bit sort of embarrassed by their home or wants some help, get in touch with me. Did you know that I can advise on window treatments and I can have them made as well? And I also design bespoke furniture. At the moment I'm designing some storage for a client who wants to hide away some toys for their daughters. They don't have a separate room for a playroom, so it's all in the lounge. So I'm working with them trying to design some storage for that, which is hence why I said the other day I've got a carpenter who would like to come along, so fingers crossed from that. But yeah, so I can help you stay within budget and try and keep you on time, and I can help you make informed decisions, which obviously saves you money as well. So if you need any help, that's me at Brentwood Interiors.
Thank you very much, Leanne. Scott is next.
Yes, good morning, Dr. Scott, in case you forgot. Creating all kinds of websites, large and small, all kinds of businesses. Currently, we are chock-a-block and turning away new projects because of you lot. You lot have been so good at referring business to us. I'm working on projects for a number of you right now, currently anyway, and there's a bit of a backlog and some really good, active, interesting projects. So thank you very much. Any simple, easy work that you can find instead of large, big, complex projects would be wonderful. So people that need to register a domain name, people that need to improve their web hosting and their security and their speed, those kind of things. People that are looking for a proper email service, they're quick and easy wins for me. Easy referrals for you guys too. So if you know anybody, give them a shout. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. I'm Megan Swan, TM Law. This week has been commercial lease week for me. Some office premises in Billericay High Street. We're finalising the lease and hope to complete it next week. We've got new instructions in for office premises at Leon C. And I'm reporting to a client who's involved in the selling of a butcher's shop that is surrendering a lease. Coincidentally, all of those are based on referrals from people here. So I'd like you to try and carry on the good work. Find me landlords or tenants of commercial premises who need to get involved in advice in relation to leases. That's Essex Business from TM Law. And finally, it's Paul.
Okay. Morning, Paul Booth from Rosen Coach Chartered Certified Accountants based in Brentwood. As part of our services to clients, we offer payroll. We run a payroll for clients, so they do their accounts, tax, etc. We can also do payroll for non-clients. This is a standalone service. So, as an example, we took on a new charity client recently just for their payroll. They've got big firm accountants in London for their annual accounts and the rest of the audit, etc. We've done the payroll. We're doing it for £600 a year.
their old accountants were charging about £4,000 a year for a one-person employee. So I am looking for clients who just need payroll as a standalone service. Obviously happy to speak to them about other services as well, but just payroll today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Right, that's the end of the 60-second round. The awarder is Brian. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you. So you mentioned in dispatches would be Neil, Scott, Aidan, certainly Terry. Looking good, I actually came second. I think that I found the most useful to get over the worst frustration is Rosie. Having a holiday through an agent. If you miss a flight, totter around, Rosie. Well done.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
You see, he made you queue to get it, didn't he? Well done, Brian. Thank you very much. Well done, Rosemary. Right, we're out of the 60-second round. Let's hit the meeting secretary's report. Scott.
Okay, well, two things to report. One, a dozen of these today, so not bad. We've had 2 weeks to come up with them, so maybe whatever. The new number that's just been added to the EBF chat WhatsApp group is this band. So if you used to seeing that number, because let's face it, doesn't work very often. It's Aidan, so we're hoping to introduce Aidan to the world of tech, get him on there. Yes, absolutely. Haven't done the maths yet on all the activity records, so there's a load.
Thank you very much, Scott. The sausage hasn't moved, so nobody's moved the sausage. Synergy team report. Paul, we had one.
Yeah, we had the B2B Finance and Professions Synergy Team meeting on Tuesday, always second Tuesday of each month, 4:20 PM at George and Dragon. Now, there were 6 of us. We had quite a nice subject of the conversation, didn't we? Is it raining? It's a little bit raining outside. We're inside. But yeah, good meeting. I'll send the normal invite for next month's meeting much nearer time.
One of the outcomes of the Synergy team meeting is that we all realised that we could work abroad. It would make EBF meetings interesting if we all went abroad to the same place, but there.
Rosemary?
10-minute presentation. Ben, take it away.
Thank you very much. Right, before I introduce today's speaker, give you an update on upcoming speakers. There's been a slight change around, so I will send an email out a bit later on. So next week on the 17th, Tina is now doing her 10 minutes, and the education is provided by Nick. 24th is now Paul Booth, with the education being provided by Toby, and then 31st will be Mel, and I'll be doing the ed slot, and then just going into September, Aidan, you'll be doing your 10 minutes then now, and Scott, you'll be doing the ed slot that day. Okay. When it's your turn to do the 10 minutes, please go to the EBF website and get the bio sheet to me a day or two beforehand, and if you can't do your 10 minutes or your ed slot for whatever reason, please let me know as soon as possible, and we'll do our best to try and swap things around. That said, today's speaker did go to the website, but we've got the bio sheet, because today we have Mr. Brian Painter from Pilgrim Hypnotherapy. So, Brian's position in the company is that basically he has to do everything. His headstone would like to be read, "Return to Sender." There. So his favourite song, so "Your red scarf matches your eyes, clothes cover before striking, father has the ship fitter blues, loving you has made me bananas."
That is the title.
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought you were just
You could have stopped it.
going off on one. Okay. Embarrassing moment. Going to the newsagents and asking why the Sunday papers had not been delivered, realising that it was Saturday.
Oh.
And the best way to relax is lying on the relaxer on a sunny day in the garden with a cold beer, listening to England thrashing the Aussies. So would you please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Brian Pater.
Well, hello. I did my first draft and I read it through and timed it. It's 37 minutes. So I thought I'll chop that down a bit. And I managed it right down to 20 minutes. Sit on your hands, Vincent. I was born in Plymouth during the war, and we lived in a place that was quite there were some strategic places around us, such as Devonport Dockyard and the bridge that connected Devon to Cornwall. So we saw a lot of bombs and a lot of dogfights, and Mother said enough of this. And we moved out when I was 4, and we camped to a place called Taunton in Somerset. Nice, quiet house. And I stayed there until I left school at 18, but my mother and stepfather had already moved to Preston in Lancashire, so I had to move up there and I left Taunton. My first employment was with a builder and civil engineer called Sir Alfred McAlpine. And we were building nuclear reactor bases, and it was for the Atomic Energy Authority. So it was quite a top secret place. I trained and qualified as a quantity surveyor with Alfred McAlpine. One got itchy feet, and I moved to London. And I was looking for a suitable job in quantity surveying, couldn't find one, so it was a temporary job. I thought I'd join what was then the North Thames Gas Board, now British Gas. The intention was to stay there just for a little while, but I kept getting promoted, but well, I'll leave it a bit longer. And finally 27 years had passed. I finished up as a public relations officer, and I took early retirement on the 31st of December 1991. The following year I sat in the garden and I listened to the Barcelona Olympics and watched it as well. And I thought retirement was not for me, so I looked around for a job I thought I'd be interested in that could cut out travelling. And I joined a franchise called, it was to do with stress management, Lambourne Court, was called Lambourne Court International. And I retrained as a therapist at 2 years, and the fee was 20,000 grand up front. So that was, well, 1993 when I finally qualified. Now, hypnosis is the oldest and most natural form of healing. There's no drugs, there's no invasion of the body. 1,000 years BC, the ancient Egyptians had what they called sleeping temples, and the priests would induce an altered state, which we now know was hypnosis, into the worshippers, give them suggestions that their problems had gone, and many instances it had. In the 4th century BC, Greece had these temples, and 100 years later, it also went to Rome. Now, there's a lot of mysticism surrounding hypnosis. You're probably all familiar with the rather mysterious man with a cloak, with a fob watch, with a near catatonic girl and saying to her, "You are under my power." Absolute rubbish. Nobody is under the hypnotist's power. I think that sort of image, it helps to create the mysticism that surrounds hypnosis. Now we have a conscious and a subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is our everyday mind, it's analytical, critical, thinking, discrimination, decision-making mind. The mind says, put petrol in the car, set the alarm clock for Tuesday, or even Friday, even Wednesday. Phone a client, pick up a loaf of bread. Everyday things, not a great deal of emotion concerned with that. It's a part-time mind. When we sleep, it sleeps, it only occupies 10% of our brain. The other 90% we call the subconscious, which is incredibly powerful. It's also known as our feeling mind because all our emotions actually come from the subconscious. Whether they're happy or sad, they have come from the subconscious. It's 90% of our mind. It is non-judgmental. It moves towards pleasure and away from pain. When I say non-judgmental, if a person wants to smoke or take drugs, that is a conscious decision. Before a person actually had a cigarette, there's no craving, so there can't be any subconscious desire. Now, because if you consider a smoker, because it moves towards pleasure and away from pain, it believes if the smoker stops smoking, they'd be depriving themselves of the pleasure. So in effect, when the smoker comes to me, they've got 10% saying stop and 90% saying carry on. What about that first cigarette in the morning? What about when you take a break? What about when you have a drink? What about when you're relaxing? All the what is? Try to keep that person asleep. What we can do in hypnosis is convince the powerful subconscious that it's more beneficial and life-enhancing if that person actually stops. And you might have mentioned before, the method I used, I was taught, it's not my own method, so at 95–96% successful. Probably the most successful type of program, smoking, stop smoking, that ever has been. So we're on. I should say that our subconscious is on patrol 24 hours a day. It never sleeps. When we do sleep, it keeps us breathing, our heart beating, digests our food, repairs our body. If all the telephone exchanges in the world were connected, they could not compare to the neurological pathways we have in here. Every second of our life, our subconscious is making in excess of 10,000 adjustments in our body. If the temperature in here changed by 1,000th of a degree, of course we wouldn't notice. Our subconscious would immediately pick up. We probably wouldn't notice 1 or 2 degrees. A good analogy of the brain is, I mentioned this previously, an iceberg. You can see 10% of the iceberg above the surface. The more powerful part of the iceberg, I think 90% is below the surface. And that is with our brain. 10% we're using now, and as I talk, if you're listening to me, the brain waves would look like that. When those brain waves slow down to more or less like that, that is known hypnosis or trance. And in that situation, the subconscious opens up and it's amenable to suggestions for change. It is not brainwashing. No hypnotherapist can make a person do anything against the will, anything that contravenes their religious, ethical, moral codes of standard, or belief system, they will maintain. That cannot be changed. Now, the therapy I enjoy the most are the psychological problems, particularly random panic attacks. I'm not talking about an ordinary panic attack. You are in bed at night and here and noise downstairs and your heart starts beating. Yes, that's quite normal. A random panic attack whereby you can be sitting at home, relaxing, be in a pub, a cinema, watching football, and suddenly, for no apparent reason, heart starts beating, have difficulty breathing, you start going hot and cold, and start trembling. This is a random panic attack. And in all cases, to cure that attack, get rid of the attack, we have to find the original cause, the inciting moment when the panic occurred. Invariably, for a random panic attack, the seed has been sown before that person was 6 years old. In hypnosis, I could take that person all the way back, they could relive that moment they thought was traumatic for that young person, deal with it, and then they examine it with their adult mind. And all the emotion goes from it, and it becomes a passive memory. It's the same with phobias. Finding out the cause, dealing with it, and once that phobia and the panic attack has been dealt with, they will never return. Just about 15 minutes ago. 90% of the problems we have as adults stem from childhood, and language plays a big part. Consider a young child carrying a glass of milk. The parent says, "Don't upset that milk." Now, the dominant word is upset. And the more that child thinks about upset, the more likely they are to upset the milk. Better to say, carry that milk carefully. The dominant word is carefully, and that is the word the child is concentrating on. We've probably heard parents, maybe we've done it ourselves, say, "Oh, you naughty boy, you naughty girl." Far better to say, what you did was naughty, than we're labelling the action and not the child. And you get, you'll never make anything in your life, you're useless. And over time, these feelings, these words can sink into the subconscious and have a detrimental effect on that child. I know this, I see clients, and going back, it's parents. Mothers and fathers have used this sort of negative language to me. Some time ago, I was asked if hypnotherapy could do with anything, help with anything. And it reminded me of a very famous American psychologist who used a lot of hypnotherapy. He was trained in hypnotherapy as well. He had a client, and this client said, "I've used this, I'm nothing, I'm just a corpse." And the psychiatrist could not get rid of this feeling, this thought he was just a corpse. He said, "Do you mind if we do an experiment?" "No, not of course." So the psychiatrist got a needle, and he pricked the client's thumb, and he said to the client beforehand, can a corpse bleed? He said, no, there's no blood in a corpse. So he pricked his thumb, there was a bead of blood. And this client looked at him. "Well, I've never thought it. A corpse can bleed." Now, I want to finish with conclude with perhaps the most unusual case I ever had. About 5 years ago, a concerned young lady, she was 28 years old, a mobile hairdresser, and she said, "I've just suddenly lost my libido." Now, libido was Freud's description of sexual energy that drives human behavior. She said, I don't know why, because my libido was fabulous just recently. And we had a few sessions, and I was getting absolutely nowhere. So I asked the subconscious to take her back to find the seed, that lack of libido. She said she was in her bedroom, and she'd been dusting and making the bed. I said, "Is anybody with you?" And she said, "Well, just Anthony, my 4-year-old son." I said, "What's he doing?" He said, he's playing on the floor, and he keeps looking at me. Now, during my 2 years training, we had read the study, Freud, probability. And I asked the subconscious, which is in deep trance at this stage, if it was the Oedipus complex which caused the problem. The Oedipus complex is the sexual desire of the male child for a relationship with his mother, and he sees his father as the competition and hates him. Now, hold on, I hear you say. Hold on, I hear you say.
Hold on.
Thank you very much. How on earth a 4-year-old child has sexual intentions with his mother? These are subconscious feelings. The child will be totally unaware of what is going on. So, we found out that it was the Oedipus complex. Somehow or other, I'm still not really sure, that young boy was transmitting his subconscious thoughts to his mother, which caused her lack of libido because it was the hatred of the father message she was also getting. Now, I know it seems very, very strange, but just think about it for a moment. One of the biggest traumas we experience is when we're actually born. We're dragged from a warm, dark place into a place that's noisy, it's very bright, we have tubes stuck down our throat, up our nose, we tip upside down, and we're walloped. Well, that's how it felt like to me anyway, until we start crying and making a noise. And then, we put on a soft, warm breast, we're fed, and we look up into the loving face of our mother, who attends to all our needs. So you can see how a conflict can possibly come into force. You've probably all heard of Mummy's Boy, the 40, 50-year-old bachelor living with his widowed mother or his divorced mother. That is the Mummy's Boy. It's a typical example of the Oedipus complex. Now, did this really happen? Could it really be the Oedipus and message be transferred from the son to his mother? Well, less than a week later, the lady phoned me saying we're going to cancel our next session because now everything is fine. And for me, that's the bottom line. I think.
Right, thank you very, very much indeed. One of the lots of things for us to think about. Quite seriously, putting labelling actions rather than children was I found very interesting. So thanks very much indeed. That leads us into the referrals round. Paul, would you like to substitute for Brian for the running?
No, I must do my duties.
No, we've allowed you time to deal with your speech. Paul could be like to speak.
Diplomatic. That would be about something very diplomatic.
Were there any questions?
One question.
It's not 8 o'clock, it's plenty.
Yeah, I know.
At night.
You mentioned the method you use is 95% success. 90%. Is that Milton model, base meta model, timeline therapy?
It's Freud's hypothesis. It's what Freud described it as the, you probably read the use of the acid.
Yeah.
Freud said that part of our mind that we don't have immediate access to is the subconscious. That's what he called it.
Right. Right, that is it. Let's get on to the referral round. Let's start with Paul and work our way round, please.
Yeah, well done, Brian. Thank you, as always. Fascinating. Thanks, Ben, as well. Excellent, as always. Obviously attending the Synergy team meeting, and truly thank you, Money, for some advice.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, for listening, joining in. See you all next week. Good meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a jolly meeting as always. I'm glad I made it to get here. So,
We are.
I've got a few referrals, I'm pleased to say, which is a shame for me. I'll just read them out. Right, the first one is to start with the ongoing website hosting thereof. Not that one, this one. I'm still a young, still new to the group, you know. Just testing. I've got another one for James Humphreys, who's not here. Save you a bit of legwork. This is for my home insurance cover. Something got there. And I've got a thank you for the money card to Jane for that little job I did for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Brian, for a fantastic 20 minutes. Really enjoyed that. Thank you very much. And I really like in the handwritten notes that you hold.
Too far.
No. And thank you for the money to Mr. Panther over there, some business cards. And a big thank you, obviously, because we haven't had a chance to say it, but to Jane, a week and a half ago, that lovely tea class she put on. Quite a few of us were there, and it was really lovely. Thank you for the effort. Even Mrs. G enjoyed it.
Hey,
Just like to say a special thank you to Rosemary, sorting out holiday, taking a serious headache. I don't know if anyone's ever gone searching on Google for a holiday, it's just a headache. So thank you for sorting all of that out, really appreciate it. Next few weeks, a little bit hit and miss me being here. It's not the festival season, that time of the year again. So here or not here, depends on where the festivals are and so what the setups are. So I'll see you, won't see you, just see how it goes. Thank you.
Excellent presentation. As usual, Brian, well done, thank you. Always find that fascinating. Vincent, doing some work with Ellen and Greenwood Funeral Directors, who also run Herringate Wood Cemetery. So I'll happily connect you to them. They used to be members here about 19 years ago. They're lovely. Excellent professionals meeting. Thank you for the money to Leanne for a renewal, which just popped into the bank account, to an ex-member and also to John Hammond, and a referral for Stuart for some hardware that he's provided.
Yes, excellent synergy team meeting. Once again, Brian, I really enjoyed just sitting listening to you. Unfortunately, we had the time to give you the 10 minutes you deserved. And Jane, I didn't attend for reasons that you all know, but Jane did me a packed lunch. She sent it over to me, and I probably enjoyed it more because I didn't have to be entertained by or with you buggers. It was excellent. So thanks for that. Thanks for the meeting so far today.
Brian, so fascinating to listen to. I think we've like, literally just listened to you for hours and we wouldn't notice the time go by at all. Just like to say we would. But no, absolutely superb. So well done. Got a sort of like referral for Nick, and there's a business card there as well, so you've got the details there as well. I'll link you up this afternoon when I get back for email. Hopefully there'll be good work sort of like between the two of you for an architect who has actually been invited along to come to the meeting, who's hopefully going to be coming in September there as well. So yeah, one-to-one that I had with Mike, the one before, not last week, but the week before, and a small thank you for the money there to Terry as well. So thank you very much. See you next week.
Yeah, good meeting, thank you. I've enjoyed it today. Brian, lovely to hear your presentation, first time I've heard from you. Certainly got me thinking of a couple of things. I'll be in touch at some stage. Vincent, we've spoke about in the post, I'll be in touch with that, so we can get that sorted, and look forward to next meeting. Thank you.
And I'm there because it's not, we're just going to do the whole thing of like you need to do your, describe someone else's business.
Oh,
it's too early for that.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Well, Brian, fantastic as ever. I really enjoyed your 10 minutes. That's great. Thank you very much to Jane and Roger for having us. That's our little key part in game of cricket and all that sort of stuff. Good talking to you all soon.
Yeah, great. It's a lot of fun working the app anyway. And very interesting 15 minutes. Thank you for that. Thank you to Jane also for the tea party. And they've got a referral for Rosemary to arrange a city break somewhere, Vienna, something like that. A thank you for the money to an ex-member, and the piece. You can have that one. It's been really interesting subject this week. Actually, thank you. Oh, and I think Jane, you can bring me in next week, can't you? But after that, she's off to Vegas. So if anybody fancies popping by on the in 2 weeks' time to pick me up, if not, you won't have the pleasure of coming. If they came to one.
Yeah, well done, Ben. It's nice to have something different. Just wait to pick up a bit, so that was good. Keep up. It's always hard to think of different things, but I appreciate you making the effort. Brian, we've done some work together on a professional basis. Really worked well, didn't it? It was absolutely incredible. It was a last resort. A girl had been injured in a nasty car crash, and car had taken off the car that caused it. She couldn't remember the details. Brian can remember the session. Got the details. It's the car, the registration number, and led to a prosecution of the driver, and the claim succeeded. It was amazing, wasn't it? It really was incredible. Best 100 quid or whatever she's ever spent with you. Really good. Thank you very much for that. Great. Referral for Ben, Phil Scott, it's already done, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what thank you for money. Thank you.
That's a tiny little referral from Neil. Thank you very much, Neil. Definitely done. That's what equal service. Thank you very much. Michael James is not here, so we'll get it eventually. And yeah, business finance was good, and thank you very much, Dave, for having us. It was lovely, really nice, you know, just relaxing, wasn't it? And nice to get to know people a bit better, playing cricket with the dogs. Good.
Thank you.
Dogs one, yeah. Dogs are good. Very good. Great builders.
Yeah, great to see everyone. Great headstart. Really interesting, Brian. Yeah, it's really interesting and good. And yes, lovely afternoon. Thank you very much, Ben. See you next week.
Really good episode. And I love listening to your voice, Brian. I'm awake now. No, it's really interesting to know what you do. Yes, I agree with everybody. Thank you very much. But after everybody went, I was still there, and we had a one-to-one meeting, sitting outside listening to
2.5 hours.
Yes, 2.5 hours. For mine, I did do a referral online. I don't know if you got it or not.
Yes, yeah.
But you did. I'm not sure whether she contacted you or not. I know she just put it out on Facebook, so I sent her your details. I probably I haven't got her number. I only know her through. Terry Mailing, Julie, she had a few issues with Tesco's. It was an accident. So, and then there's another one for Terry. You can't find issues with NHS not paying their invoices.
I want it.
Brilliant. And I'll see you all next week. Thank you, Terry, for picking me up.
It's not really interesting, shows how much we should all listen to each other because, yeah, I had a couple of pencil bumps instead. Really interesting, Brian. Yeah, I could listen to you for ages. And it's made me realise, especially about the naughty children thing, because as a mother, I probably a lot of times said to my children, you're very naughty children. And now I've got little tiny grandchildren, I'll take that on board to say that's naughty, but they're not naughty. So thank you for that. Yeah, and thank you for the money to Neil. Sorry, no one's money.
Sorry. I'm on assistant.
I was at Billy Mullins. That's right. Anyway, see you all next week. Thank you.
Well done. So, Brian, very eloquent, very edutaining. You flowed. I don't know that you needed your notes at all, but it looked the part. And I would tune into your show on television, This Week's Phobias and Fears Dealt With. Very good. And thank you, Ben, for setting us off in the right direction. A bit of energy there. I did cheat with one and did that. But I sat down with the hand that got it wrong. So, open up on duty. Tina, please, 1-to-1. Melissa, thank you for the money. Do I keep that? Summer party. I just don't know how to report that. Thank you. Paul Booth, my sister-in-law, perfect. Paul Booth, synergy meeting. Yes. And another very enjoyable meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Excellent. Entercational is the other way to do it. Entercational?
Entertational.
Anyway, right.
Bless you.
Right, look,
Picture the sausage,
I-
the block picture.
Can you pose with your sausage, please?
right.
Yeah,
We've
one
got
arm
to do.
like to do a photo.
I'll tell you, I'll go to
Why
Brian.
don't you? Yeah.
Would you please, Brian, choose us the winner of today's speakers? Yeah, might breathe a bit there. Thank you very much.
I'm trying to get his face in this sausage. Is simple.
Okay, from pick us a winner.
The winner, most certainly, and the winner is
The winner is.
It's the kosher bacon we love.
sausage. Terry. So
No,
Unlucky, Terry.
No.
no, the winner is Tina. Who gave it to Terry? You gotta get that, Tina.
It's a what?
Senior.
Is it? Senior.
It's a what?
Senior.
Oh, it's those in the box.
Is there a?
Is that good?
It's the business card.
Yeah, one of mine right
There's an IOU then. You have to give out the prize.
The door prize.
The door prize.
Oh, yes. It's fermenting, so it'll be with you next week.
Right. Okay. We're going to have a nice day today. It's going to be nice and warm. Anybody who can get away from doing any work, do it, because you'll be outside. It's wonderful weather and it'll be the last day of summer. Enjoy the pleasure of you all today, including the sausage. Could I ask for anybody who wants to make an announcement to speak now? Paul first.
Yeah, if anyone wants to change from their original breakfast choice, just email me direct, please. Just a reminder, in terms of the options, they don't do a omelette and bacon or omelette and sausage. It's either omelette on its own or the other ingredients in a baguette.
Brian.
But I know I was the first to sit down with the hands in the bottom. It's because I didn't hear the question anyway. That's why.
Let you off.
Yeah, I want to officially thank Jane for what she did for us. That marvellous garden afternoon. Absolutely super. Those who unfortunately couldn't get there, missed a treat. Thank you, Jane.
Jane.
Thank you. So next week it's Synergy for the other Synergy group, straight after the meeting here, if you can possibly stay for a bit. And the topic is doing social media for your business a big old waste of time?
There you are, you've got a week to think about it. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
Some time ago, I bought in a calendar for 2023 and sold days for £1 each to help send Emma on her way to Korea. I think I've already announced it on WhatsApp, but for those of you who aren't on there, we drew a day at random, and the winner of that was Vince. Whatever it was, it had your name written in it. It was June the 16th, something like that. So you are the winner of that much of cash.
It's your daughter. That's who it's for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly fine. What a guy!
Anybody else got any announcement? Right, well next week, Ben's going to do a similar thing, but it's not hands on your head and hands on your bottom, it's hands on somebody else's head and hands on your bottom.
I'm going to sit someone else's head.
I was rather hoping that I would encourage people to come next week. If it doesn't, he will adapt it to not doing it at all. Right, I I'm really pleased to be back after a couple of weeks away. It's nice to see you all. Great day. Let's get out there, and I look forward to seeing you and as many people as you can drag along for next week.